Wouldn't it be nice to have a little bit more money earlier in retirement and then a bit less and then even less later on? But with the peace of mind that you can spend what you're spending now and not run out of money later. That's the whole concept around our laddered income approach as we build retirement plans. In this video, I'm going to break down the whole process, why we do it, the psychological side of it, and why you need to have it built into your financial plan. Hi, my name's Adam. Thanks for joining us today. If you haven't already checked out, we actually launched a second YouTube channel and it's geared at kind of the 18 to 45-year-old market. And I don't parameter on those ages, but it's built around kind of building the assets, the accumulation phase. This channel is definitely more focused on the decumulation phase. How do you draw stuff out, strategically, tax advantages, all of that. It's on this channel. And again, we're going to talk about that today. But if you're looking for, or people that are looking for more accumulation, how do we save? How do we pay off debt? How do we build wealth through 20s, 30s, and 40s? Our second YouTube channel is all about that. So we've linked that below. A couple days ago, we did a video on the RRSP meltdown. And if you haven't watched that video, we'll link it above here. Check that out. It talks about the RRSP meltdown, how it works, why you want to do it, and the tax savings that's there. Now, I'm using the same scenario, and I'm taking that RRSP meltdown, and now I'm entering into the laddered income part of the process. And the laddered income is really, we call it the go-go, slow-go, no-go phase of retirement. And the go-go is typically, everyone asks, how long should we go? Typically, we draw the go-go phase of retirement to age 75. There's a lot of statistics out there, age 71, 73. The ability to travel, to spend money, to do a lot of that stuff kind of drops off the map. So I want to plan a little bit longer than that. Then from 76 to 85 is that slow go phase. Things slow down. You can still do stuff, but you're not spending as much. And then 85 onward, whether you do a plan till 90, 95 or beyond, that would be your no-go phase. And we have clients in that phase, and trust me, it is a no-go phase. It's very hard to spend money. You may know someone in that phase and how little money they actually do spend. So I'll jump into the software here in a second and break down the laddered income approach and kind of what we went from and what you should be going to. But really the purpose behind the laddered income strategy for us and why we do it for our clients, or at least walk them through the process, is to say, show them, look, you can actually spend a bit more now with the peace and comfort that you're gonna be okay later. A lot of you will, without a plan, will go through retirement, you'll hold your money too tight, you won't spend it early because you're worried about running out of money, which is an absolute legitimate concern and something you should think about. But what happens is you hold your money so tight, you get your 70s, your 80s, and you have way more than you thought, and it's too late to kind of do the travel and do the things you would have done had you known you would have had enough money. Now, again, the pushback we always get on the laddered income strategy is, Adam, later in life is when I need the most money because I'm going to need a care facility or in-home care and all of that. It's kind of the reverse ladder income strategy. And my pushback there, my feedback there would be, for most of you, you own a home. And when we build out a retirement plan, we might downsize the home, but we're typically not selling the home. So there's that asset and that buffer in the background that if you need care facility or in-home care, there's a bit of an asset there to lean on if needed. For those that don't have a house, your plan does need to look a little bit different. Typically, that slow-go phase will run out at a level number right through death. Again, everyone's situation is a little different. You need to build a plan that you're comfortable and confident in, and one that allows you to sleep at night. So let's quickly look. So this is the plan that we did in the last video, Mr. and Mrs. YouTube with the RSP meltdown. And if you remember, they had a after-tax income on an annual basis of $6,000 a month, $72,000 a year. That ran all the way down to age 90. And they had a small bucket of change left at an age 90, about $35,000. So what we would do in this process is say, okay, instead of taking $72,000 for the rest of your life, you don't need that later, and it would be nice to have a little bit earlier. So the next step in the planning process would say, let's look at a laddered income strategy. Let's look at bumping up that $72,000 in the earlier years, and in this case, we bumped it up to $78,000. So let's give them about $500 more after tax in their pocket every single month. That's $6,000 a year. That's maybe an extra trip, whatever it is. Everyone's got their thing that they want to spend money on. So $6,000 a year, substantial amount, all the way down to age 75. Then from age 76 to age 85, we lowered it to $68,000. So there's going to be a big shift in spending as you get into your mid 70s. You're just going to spend less, your ability to travel, all that. So we've cut it down by about $10,000. But again, it's still a very nice income. And again, everyone's situation is going to be a little bit different depending on what that base income is that you're starting with. And then in the no-go phase, we've dropped it slightly, not a whole lot, $68,000 to $65,000. And again, very little to nothing left at the end of the day. Now, again, the concern here would be, well, what happens if you live to 95? How much money is there? We'd have to run it out and see, like, okay, you just have CPP and OAS. It's not a whole lot of money. Is that going to support you? So there's things like this. Like this plan, client wanted to, plan out to 85. We did it to 90. You want to look at this stuff. And again, we just did a video on life expectancy. Watch that video again. We'll link that up above as well. You want to understand life expectancy. When are you expected to live to? How does that work within the plan? And then you want to kind of build out the plan. Again, you don't want to kind of empty at zero unless maybe there's a house there that you could sell and all that kind of stuff. Again, I keep going back to it, but everyone's plan is different. And that's why it's so important to build a plan like this that you're seeing on our software for you and your numbers and your situation. And how does it work for you? Again, there's general processes like the RSP meltdown and laddered income strategy. These things work well. And we know they work well because we've been doing it for 20 plus years. They work well. But how it works for you versus your neighbor versus your coworker is going to be different. So make sure you go through this process with your financial planner, understand why the laddered income makes sense, how it's going to work in your plan, and how can you give yourself more earlier in retirement so you can enjoy that time of life versus having too much money later in your 70s and 80s when you're unable to spend it.